Today, in my evil math laboratory, I decided to do something a little different. I thought I'll practice a little bit of sorcery. After all, what is the point of learning all this cursed mathematics if you can't even make magical spells with it? So I decided to show you guys how to do just that. We will be creating a magic circle, also known as a sigil. But first, of course, we will need to create the cursed equation. For this, we'll need vectors. I've been meaning to use those funky letters with little arrows above them for some time now. But before we do all that, we have to figure out what our magical spell will actually be. We begin by writing down our intent. The less words you use, the better. For our purposes, we will stick with just one word. I'll just use magic for this example. Now, the idea is to somehow convert this word into numbers. There are, of course, many ways to do this. The technique I will be using is to simply enumerate all the letters of the English alphabet, like so. This is your basic numerology. So we can now convert our word into these numbers. But there's a slight issue. Are we talking about magic? Or are we talking about MQIC, whatever that is? And 131,793 seems like a pretty big number to deal with. We could add the numbers to make 42, I suppose. But we are losing the meaning of our intent that way. So this is where our vector comes in. You see, a vector, simply put, is just a list of numbers. These numbers correspond to the coordinates on the Cartesian plane, and they remain separate from each other, making it perfect for our spell. And we don't have to do any tricky, weird, woo-woo numerology stuff. We are dealing with real magic here. Okay, we are finally ready to begin creating our actual magic spell. For this one, I will use the vector 6120. My first order of business will be to incorporate the mystical essence of the integral. I decided to make our top limit into a simple 2. We will need to construct another vector inside our integral, which, when integrated, produces our intent. Let's start with a simple x for our first component. This makes our antiderivative result into x squared over 2. I'll get rid of that 2 by placing it inside the integral. Now our result becomes 4. So I decided to add 1. Perfect, we get the first value inside our vector. The second one is fairly simple. We want the result to be 1, so 1/2 will do just fine. Excellent, exactly what we are hoping for. The last term can be done in the same way. We can use the number 10, and 10 times x becomes 20 once we plug the 2 for x. Alright, we created the first incantation of our math spell, but we are far from done. Let's make our magic a little bit more powerful by making our math a little bit more scary looking. I decided to turn that 10 into an infinite summation. It's not the most clever one, but it will do. So far so good. Our critter is looking nice. Now it's time to add some fluff and puff to our spell. Remember, the more complicated we make our mathematical expression, the more powerful the magic. For this, I will want to add a null vector. To do this, I can use any vector and multiply it by 0, which means I can use one of those funky letters with an arrow on top, making my equation naturally more powerful. But this does leave us with this unseemly 0. Not to worry, I know just the thing. One quick way to hide a 0 is to turn it into a sine pi. Very nice, but we aren't done yet. Let's do something kind of crazy with that pi. One particularly fascinating summation, which results in pi, is this demonic thing. Its bottom index starts at -infinity, and to be honest, I don't even know how that works. But it sure is a cool little formula, so I decided to use it in my math. And just as a little touch, I thought I'll turn that -1 into I, so we can have the imaginary unit inside this monstrosity. Excellent, this thing is looking amazing. One more thing. Let's have another random vector at the beginning, just to give the whole thing a little bit more character. And here we are, a fantastic elaborate creation, which results in a vector that translates into a magical wish. We are finally ready to construct our spell. We do this by spacing out our expression around the ring of our soon-to-be powerful magic circle. Once we have that accomplished, we can proceed making our sigil, which is a creative process of taking all the terms and symbols and stacking them into a kind of anagram inside the ring. Fantastic! We have created our spell. The only thing left to do is to test it out. Let's see, where's my trusty familiar? Hey Minxie, come here little kitty. Meow. Ah yeah, perfect. Works like a charm. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like the idea of making magic sigils out of math equations, check out this other video over here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you all in the next one.